We are studying chapter number 4 in Science 2, which is environmental management. In the previous two sessions, we have understood what all is needed to study this chapter, what we have studied already in the previous lessons. We have also looked at food chain, food web, energy pyramid, how they are connected with each other, different types of trophic levels, also environment and its various components. Today, we will focus on what is the need to manage the environment. What is the need what is the need for environmental management? And that is why we started the class by watching that documentary on Chipko movement. Now, you must have seen some names in that video. You must have noticed Mr. Bhatt, Mr. Negi, but one name was not there. Can you remind me? Can you tell me which name was not there in that video? Very important name with respect to Chipko movement. The person who kind of started that movement. You have already shared with me this name earlier in the class. You can raise your hand and speak, or you can type it. Who is that person? Anushka is saying, Jada Mulai Pain. No, beta. It's no, not that name. Karthik is saying Sundarlal Bahuguna. Yes, Sundarlal Bahuguna. In the class, I will, during the session, I will also show you the Wikipedia page for Sundarlal Bahuguna. That name was not included in this video, not because they don't like him. It was just not there. Right? Okay. So let us begin. I'm sure by now you remember this food chain. So in the first question of the exercise, these things are given: grasshopper, snake, paddy field, eagle, and frog. What we need to do is we need to reorganize them to make a proper food chain. Do it in your notebook, then type it in the chat. That's first task. Second task is describe the ecosystem which it belongs, right? So instead of describing it now, just tell me the name of the ecosystem where this food chain will exist. Name the ecosystem. So two things I have asked you to do: rearrange the components written here: grasshopper, snake, paddy field, eagle, frog, and make a food chain out of it, and then try to name the ecosystem. 2 minutes should be enough for this. We'll say that this food chain starts from where? The paddy field. Then paddy will be eaten by the grasshopper. That will be eaten by the frogs. Now frogs will eat. Frogs will be eaten by snakes. And snakes will be eaten by eagles. Right? And all this is happening at a place. Ecosystem is the place where this food chain exists. So the place is where? It is the paddy field. So we can say that the ecosystem is paddy field. Paddy field. That is it. Very, very, very easy. Because the main question asks us to describe the ecosystem. So we will say that this ecosystem is the ecosystem of the paddy field, where the paddy crop is the producer, grasshopper acts as the primary consumer, frogs act as secondary consumers, and they are carnivores. Snakes can be considered as tertiary consumers. They are also they are also carnivores. Eagles can be considered as apex consumers. They are also carnivores, and together they make this food chain. Very simple. So whenever it says describe the ecosystem, so what we have to say, we have to identify who are the producers, who are the consumers, and who are the decomposers. In this food chain, we don't have the decomposers, so we are not describing it. Right? So first, we look at what is given. We put them in the logical order. We have the food chain. Then we give it a proper name to the ecosystem. And to describe the ecosystem, what we are doing actually is we are identifying producers, consumers, and decomposers. The last thing that we studied in the last class was about environment, right? We studied that everything, whether it is live or dead, whether it is natural or artificial, everything that affects the organisms, they make the environment. And then we studied about the components of environment. You read the paragraph and you identified that the components can be classified as one, physical, chemical, and biological. In physical, we can think of air, water, the land. In chemical, we can think of the carbon dioxide, the water, the nutrients. Biological means all the living organisms, plants, animals, microorganisms, everything together. So this is one way of looking at the components of environment. Another way of looking at the components of environment is in terms of biotic and abiotic. Biotic means all the living organisms. So there is a connection here. There is a connection, and the connection is everything that is biotic is biological, definitely. And everything that is abiotic, it is physical and chemical, of course. So this is just another way to look at it. There is another way to look at the different components of environment, and that is about artificial and natural. Some components are natural, some components are artificial. Once again, if we try to connect physical, chemical, biological, biotic, abiotic with natural and artificial, we will realize that all the living organisms are natural, right? Definitely natural. Now, there are some physical and chemical and abiotic factors also that are natural. Water is there naturally. Air is there naturally. Although it is not biotic, it is still natural. But then there are some artificial components also. The chemicals that we produce, the structures that we create, construct, the dams we construct, the houses we construct. Agriculture is artificial, right? So these are three different ways of looking at the components of environment. There is nothing like which is right, which is wrong. There are multiple ways of looking at it. So one is physical, chemical, biological. Another one is biotic and abiotic. Third one is natural and artificial. And we will use this terminology throughout the chapter. Let us continue and study more about environmental management. So after environment, the next thing that comes to our mind is ecology. And I told you earlier in the class that wherever we come across this term, logy, whenever we come across this is a suffix, L-O-G-Y, logy, biology, logy, physiology, logy, right? So this logy means study. Wherever it occurs, right? And then it is added to eco. So yes, it is related to environment. It is the study of environment. So there are, again, we can define ecology in multiple ways, but in very simple terms, it is the study of environment. Study of environment. What we can say, if we become a little bit more technical, if we give a little bit more detail, we can say this, that it is the interaction between the biotic and abiotic factors of environment. Environment is definitely there. We are just making it more clear that in ecology, we study the interaction. Interaction means how different parts work with each other, affect each other, impact each other. abiotic and biotic factors of environment. Can we also say that it is the study of interaction between physical, chemical, and biological components of environment? Yes, we can say that. In general, ecology is the study of interaction of different components of the environment. We can also say, or instead of saying what it is, can you give me an example? If you are saying it's an interaction between biotic and abiotic factors, can you think of an example how abiotic and biotic factors interact? Remember, the biotic factors are all the organisms. Everything that is not alive are the abiotic factors. How are they related to each other? How do we interact? How do humans interact with the abiotic factors? How do animals interact with abiotic factors? I thought we only interact with living organisms. Do we interact with abiotic factors also? Give me an example. Think. Very good example. Very good example given by Chan, that human beings carry out agriculture where we plant the seeds in the soil, and the seeds absorb nutrients from the soil and a plant grows out of it. Yes, very good example of interaction between the biotic and abiotic factors. Very nice. Right? So these are all good interactions. Can you give me an example of a bad interaction between the biotic and abiotic factors? We should not do, but we do. I think. Give me an example. So when we release the factory pollutants, the chemicals, into the water, so who is releasing it? We. What are we? We are part of the biotic factors. We are interacting with what? Water. Water is what? A abiotic factor. And when we release it, it causes something. There is a word that you should have used, Aman. A word starting with a P. Pollution happens, right? So pollution is, yes, pollution is a example of bad effect, bad interaction, or disadvantageous interaction between biotic and abiotic factors. So ecology is the study of all such interactions, both good and bad. So in ecology, we can study, and we do study how what we do is necessary and it is good. We also study about how what we do, some of the things that we do are not good. They are not good for the nature. Right? Both are covered under ecology. Ecosystem is the functional unit of the environment. Functional unit. Basic functional unit. If we try to make it more simple, what is the basic functional unit of environment? We have defined environment by saying it has physical, chemical, and biological components. We have defined environment by saying it has biotic and abiotic factors. We have defined environment by saying that it has natural and artificial components. So then what is the basic functional unit of environment? Remember, the environment exists, life exists not because these components exist, but also because they interact with each other. So ecosystem is that place, it's that small place where this interaction happens. So we can say it is the functional unit to study ecology, interactions, wherever the interaction between different components of the environment is happening. To study that, we divide the entire environment into smaller units. And those smaller units are called ecosystems. If you make it even more definite, right? Interaction of biotic and abiotic factors occupying a definite geographic location. So it can be a tree. On a tree, there are some biotic factors and abiotic factors, and they depend on each other. Remember the bird that has a nest on the tree, goes to the pond for water and fishes. There are other organisms also living on the tree. The pond itself has different organisms that depend on each other. Even a piece of land which looks barren, barren means banjar. Underground, there are some organisms. We may not see them. So these specific geographic locations where biotic and abiotic factors interact with each other, those are called ecosystems. So today in the session, we have looked at what ecology is, what ecosystem is, and we have understood that ecology is the study of environment. And to study the environment, we divide the environment into smaller units, which are called ecosystems. To move forward, let us understand some interactions or in the environment, some cycles that we have studied in the environment that exists in the environment. Do you think you remember any of the cycles that are there in the environment? Can you name them? You have studied many cycles in the previous grades. Even when you were studying EVS, you studied some cycles of the environment. We are not talking about the bicycle that Ankit has or Aman has. Okay, Prachi is saying nitrogen cycle, oxygen cycle, carbon cycle. Anushka is saying water cycle. Yes. Akhilesh and Rajesh are saying nitrogen cycle. Biogeochemical cycles, carbon cycle, oxygen cycle, nitrogen cycle. Yes, correct. Okay. And we studied these things once again last year also. What you should have, or what we have studied last year, is biogeochemical cycle. See how long the name is, bio. So there are some biological components. Geo, there are some geographical components. Chemical, there are chemical components. So these cycles are complicated cycles. And the cycles that you have already studied, they are classified in two types. One type of cycles are gaseous cycles. So when you say oxygen cycle, nitrogen cycles, they are the cycles of the gases, oxygen and nitrogen. But there are some other cycles also, which are called sedimentary cycles, which are related to our land, this earth, where things are deposited in our land, and then they're again recycled as part of nutrients. And these cycles are possible with the interaction of biotic and abiotic factors. You have already given me the examples: water, carbon, oxygen, nitrogen. These cycles you have already studied. But what is the purpose? Why do we need cycles in the environment? And this question can be answered if we can think what will happen if the cycles don't exist. What is the importance of these cycles? So one aspect is, yes, that we depend on each other for various things. That is fine. That is necessary. And that is captured when we think about our food chain, or when we think about a food web, when we look at an energy pyramid. The interdependence is very clear. In addition to that, there is something else. Our resources are limited. So to make the best use of the resources, these cycles, whether it is water, carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, any cycle, they are actually recycling the resources. Yes, there is a cycle, and in this cycle, resources are being, nutrients are being recycled. Let us always remember this. And from this, we should learn, if the nature is recycling, we should also recycle instead of wasting a lot of resources. We should reuse things. So this is an important lesson from nature, that we should be using our resources in a very, very careful way. Moving forward, I have shown a paragraph from your textbook, which is on page number 38. Page number 38. Please read it and confirm that you have read. You can confirm it with a thumbs up. you. It says, human existence is totally impossible without the existence of nature. We have already seen it. Hence, it is basic responsibility of human beings to preserve the nature without disturbing its balance. We have understood this. It is said that we have got this planet Earth, on lease from our future generations. फ्यूचर जनरेशन जो अभी आया भी नहीं है, हमने उनसे लिया हुआ है. किसको? प्लैनेट अर्थ को, लीज पे, उधार पे. एंड नॉट एज एन एंसेस्ट्रल प्रॉपर्टी फ्रॉम आवर एंसेस्टर्स. माने ये अर्थ हमको हमारे दादा परदादा से नहीं मिली है, बल्कि हमने अपने पोते पोतियों से उधार लिया है, ये कहा जाता है. Hence, we should not forget to conserve it for ourselves and for future generations. इसीलिए we should save it for our future generations. ऐसा क्यों कहा गया है? Why is it saying that the earth, the planet is not something that we got from our ancestors? हमको तो मिला ना. When we were born on this planet. We got this earth. अभी तो फ्यूचर जनरेशन आया ही नहीं. Then why are we saying that we have taken it on lease from future generation, जो कि अभी आए ही नहीं? What does this mean? Prachi is saying the earth also belongs to the future generation, and it is like we are renters on the planet earth, and after that our future generation will be here. Correct? Usman is saying, very good. I'm happy to see a response from Usman. Because we are using natural resources, it is getting over, then our future, then use natural. Okay, so if we finish the resources, then our future generation will not be able to use. Correct, Usman? Khadija is saying, to conserve it is better than to destroy. Not caring it, thinking that it is our own ancestors' property. Okay, so बचाने की जरूरत है, right? Usman and Khadija and Prachi also, they are saying that we need to be careful about how we use the resources that we have, the biotic and abiotic factors that we have. If we misuse them, then the resources will not be there for our future generation. तो हमारी ही जिम्मेदारी है ना कि हमारे future generation also they are able to live properly. And that is why we say that this planet, we are living on this planet on a lease. We haven't got this planet as a property from our ancestors. Very important. So it says we have to treat our life as a responsibility, not as a right in this context. We have a responsibility towards our future generation. After this discussion, the small discussion we had, and Tushar is saying something, we can use clothes also as me, small brother. Yes, everything that we use, if we use it properly, if we use it wisely, then it can be used by others also. And there is a direct question about this in the exercise. It says, explain the statement. We have got this planet Earth. It's not Earth planet, we should write planet Earth, on lease from our future generation and not as ancestral property from our ancestors. So here we have to write what we discussed, that if we conserve our planet, if we conserve the resources that we have, then the future generation will also be able to live properly. If we don't conserve, then our future generation will have a tough life. That is what it means. It talks about our responsibility towards the generation that is yet to come. So we have looked at components of environment, ecology, ecosystem. We have understood how our life is dependent on nature, right? Now let us understand what we are doing with the environment, and this is the major focus of the chapter. And let us start this by trying to understand, you know this already, so you are going to explain to me what are the different things that affect our environment. If we classify, if we take this classification of natural and man-made factors, so if one example of the natural factors is earthquakes, what other things can you think of? Natural factors that affect our environment. Chand is saying flood, Karthik is saying tsunami, Anushka is saying disaster. Yes, disaster is fine. What kind of disaster? So flood is a possible answer. Tsunami is a possible answer. What else? I'm sure you know more. What else? Erosion. Okay. Very good, Anushka. Correct. What else? Volcanic eruption. Yes. Karthik is saying landslides. Yes. Usman is saying thunder. Yes. Tornado. Yes. See, you know, cyclone. Yes. Right. So these are natural factors that affect the environment. Drought. Correct. Forest fire. Correct. All these are natural factors. See, I told you, you know this. And Chan, don't read the answers from the guide. The second part is man-made factors. Rahul, yes, thunderstorm is also a factor. If you are talking about man-made factors, and the hint for us is deforestation. What other things can we think of man-made factors? Chanda is saying fishing, hunting, industries. Yes, industries, hunting. Yes. Building. Okay, the collapsing of the building. Pollution, Anushka. Yes, correct. Akhilesh and Rajesh, why are we getting into that territory? Let us think of peace. Fire. Okay. And Chand, you gave us an example some time ago, right? Karthik, global warming is a effect. It's an outcome. It's not input. It is not a factor. It's an outcome. Be clear. So what causes global warming is our industries, our pollution, all that, and our energy uses. Chand gave us a very interesting example previously about human beings planting the seed and the seed growing into a plant, and it was an example of how biotic and abiotic components interact with each other. Do you think from there also we have an example for man-made factors affecting environment? I think there is man-made factor. Starting with an A. Agriculture. Agriculture. Think about it, Chan. Once again. Think about it, Chan. Is agriculture really all good? If our population keeps on increasing, we keep on using more and more land for agriculture. Is it really good? It is always good. Is it always good? Where do we get more land from? We will have to cut more forests. Right? So agriculture is also a man-made factor. Please don't forget this. Agriculture is also man-made factor. Understood that there are some natural factors and there are some man-made factors which affect the environment in a bad way. That is the takeaway. That is what we are understanding from this discussion. You have already identified pollution, how it is a problem, how it is a problem for the environment. Anushka mentioned that. Many other people, students also mentioned it. And we have already studied about pollution, different types of pollution in previous grades. Do you remember these things? That pollution is contamination. Contamination means to make something dirty. Whatever it is, if you are making air dirty, that is pollution. If you make water dirty, that is pollution. Whenever we are making something dirty, we can call it pollution. But if we are more specific and if we are more detailed about what pollution is, then it is unnecessary and unacceptable change in the environment. जो जरूरी नहीं है और जो नहीं होना चाहिए, ऐसे चेंजेस, unnecessary and unacceptable. And you are already giving me examples of noise pollution, right? नहीं होना चाहिए, sure, correct. And what happens because of pollution is there are harmful effects to the organisms, living organisms, not just to humans, but to all organisms. So pollution is bad. We have studied this from EVS days. There is no rocket science here. And we have also studied about different types of pollution. Some pollutions are natural, some pollutions are artificial. Can you give me an example of artificial pollution? You have already given one. And when you say noise pollution, when Aman said, when we release the chemicals of the factory into the rivers, that is another, that is water pollution, right? These are artificial pollution, air pollution, water pollution. Can you give me an example of a natural pollution? It's an interesting question. The forest fire that occurs naturally, that causes pollution. So that fire, for a natural forest fire is a example of natural pollution. I think Karthik said volcanic eruptions. So whenever there is a volcanic eruption, that also causes pollution, right? So some activities happen naturally that cause pollution. Some activities are carried out by us that also cause pollution. So what the activities that we carry out and that lead to pollution, they are called artificial pollution, and the activities that happen naturally and they end up in pollution, they are called natural pollution. Very easy, you know this. So in the previous classes, we have studied about air pollution, water pollution. When we say sound, it is the noise pollution. We keep forgetting about soil pollution. And this soil pollution also happens during agriculture. The chemicals, the fertilizers that we use, excessive use of these chemicals also lead to contamination of the land. Light pollution. Remember last year you studied telescopes wala chapter. There is so much light even during the night in the cities that we are not able to see the stars. There is thermal pollution. What is thermal pollution? What is it related to? Think and try answer. Thermal pollution is about heat. Thermal pollution is about excessive heat. And that excessive heat is because of various activities. Right? Even industrial factors that causes heat. And all this leads to global warming that Karthik mentioned earlier. Radiation pollution is different types of radiations that are harmful to us. Let us look at it in a little bit more detail. Yeah. Radiation pollution, it is also called as radioactive pollution. Yes, there are UV rays. UV is ultraviolet, IR is infrared. There are X-rays, right? So sometimes these radiations come from natural phenomenon. These rays are coming all the time from the sun also, but there is an ozone layer which protects us. There is atmosphere which protects us. But these radiations, they also are generated due to our human activity. जब हम hospital जाते हैं अपना X-ray कराने के लिए, so that X-ray is also harmful. Too much of X-ray will be harmful to us. We have also studied about different disasters, nuclear disasters, Chernobyl, Winscombe is in UK. There was another disaster here. 3 Miles Island. This is in United States. So Chernobyl in Russia, Windscale in UK, and 3 Miles Island in US. These are examples of accidents that resulted in radiation pollution, radioactive pollution. Do you remember what are the 3 different radiations that are generated due to radioactive decay? We studied this last year. 3 radiations that are generated due to radioactive decay from the radioactive elements. Chand, yes, Chand has given an answer. I'm waiting for all the answers to come through before I read it out. Chand has given second one. Prachi has given all the three. Chand has also given all the three. Alpha, beta, and gamma radiations. Alpha, beta, and gamma radiations. Good. So this is one way of looking at radiation pollution. And we know that these radiations can cause diseases, it can cause cancers, it can also cause mutations in our genes. We have studied mutation in Science 2, chapter number 1. Let us quickly do this activity to revise the different types of pollutions that we have already studied. So this is a very good summary of air pollution, water pollution, and soil pollution, where we are thinking about the components. Components means what is causing the pollution, the parts, the things that cause the pollution. So these are causes. Source means kahan se wo aata hai, these things. So where are these components coming from? Effect is the impact. How are they affecting us? And control measures. So what can we do to prevent it? So let us try to complete this chart with at least one example for each. So if we look at air pollution, it says the components are carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, hydrocarbon, sulfur, nitrogen oxides, hydrogen sulfides. These are gases components. Then there are solid components, dust, ash, carbon, lead, asbestos. All these are pollutants. And where do they come from? In my head, air pollution mainly comes from industry. Also, I think the main source of air pollution is our vehicles. When I try to think, how is air pollution affecting me? It causes diseases. And how can we control this? We have to use clean energy. We have to use green energy, clean energy. We have to be very, very wise, careful about how we are operating our industries. We have to treat our pollutants, treat the exhaust of treat the effluents of the factory before we release them into the water. We should not release, but if we are releasing, we should treat. Can you try help me complete the column for water pollution? What do you think are main components of water pollution? ऐसा क्या होता है, कौन सी चीजें होती हैं जो which lead to water pollution? टॉक्सिक वेस्ट, ओके, जहरीले वेस्ट, ओके, कहां से आते होंगे? तो different, we can say toxic waste, maybe from the factories. Chemicals, poisonous gases, good. Gases also can mix in the water, correct. So of course we get this from industries, our homes also. Sewage mane nale, chemicals discharged from industries. See, pesticides used in agriculture, I mentioned this. Again, what is the effect? What is the one major impact of water pollution? क्या असर होता है, क्या होगा अगर हम ऐसे? Okay, Tushar is saying the waste from our toilets also. Yes, correct, good. Anushka is saying fish will die. Yes, so death of organisms, health will deteriorate, and it will cause diseases. Correct, you can complete it. And what do we need to do to control this? क्या करना पड़ेगा? Rahul is saying recycle, cycle. Yes, we have to treat the waste before releasing. We have to recycle. We have to clean the water bodies. Yes. Correct. Similarly, you can complete the column for soil pollution. It's not difficult. It's very easy. And you see there are some common themes. What causes pollution is bad chemicals, the waste. Where is it coming from? From our houses, from the industry. What is the impact? The impact is on our health, diseases, everything. And how do we prevent it? How do we control it? We control it by treating the waste before we release them into the nature, in the air. Very, very interesting quote. Something that Mahatma Gandhi said is given in our textbook, which reads, "The earth is sufficient to satisfy everyone's need, but not the greed." Earth is sufficient to satisfy everyone's need, but not the greed. Need and greed. Need is हमारी जरूरत. Greed is हमारी लालच. And this is what is the summary of human life on earth. We have been greedy. Let us see what Mahatma Gandhi meant. Clearing the screen. Moving on. Here you will need your textbook. You are reading the first paragraph on page number 30, page number 41 actually. Page number 41. Quickly read the paragraph and answer this question. Have we been smart enough? Remember a question I asked you in the beginning when we were looking at food chain, food web, and energy pyramid. And I asked you, where will you put human beings and why? Right? Here is the answer. Even if we ignore what human beings are eating, because that food chain, food web, and the trophic levels, the energy pyramid depends on what is being eaten and how. Human beings have to come at the top of the pyramid because of the intelligence that we have. Doesn't matter what we are eating. We are killing, we are destroying, even if we are not eating. Right? So clearly we haven't been smart enough. We have been greedy for more and more and more money, for more and more and more development. And that has led to imbalance in nature. Our responsibility. The blame is on us. And because the blame is on us, we have to find the solution. Let us find the solution. Once again, you are reading from the textbook, page number 40. You are reading the two paragraphs under section need of environmental conservation. Why do we need to conserve environment? Read and confirm. Now, if I ask you, in the first thing that we studied on page number 41, we understood that we have caused the problem. Now, what do you think is the solution now? What is the solution? Are we going to call aliens to come and fix the world? What is it that is required? Chand is saying we should involve children. I'm not so sure. Karthik is saying awareness about environment. Yes, we need to create awareness. And this awareness will lead to involvement. Whose involvement? Everyone's, not just children, everyone's involvement of the general public, because it is our responsibility to fix this. Only a government cannot fix this. Only one organization will not be able to fix this. There is something more that needs to be in place. You must have read in this paragraph that governments all over the world, they have taken responsibility of doing things to fix this problem, to take steps to reduce the pollution. Making laws, correct. Okay. And again, yes, Khadija, when you are saying large participation of people, I'm saying involvement. It's the same thing. So always remember, just making laws will not be successful if we don't have the awareness and involvement. Laws need to be implemented. Think of a very simple situation. School, classroom. We have a dustbin. Where do we throw our kachra? Do we throw the waste paper in the dustbin? How many times we find that we are sharpening our pencil in the desk? We tear a page and we put it in the desk. While we are putting the kachra in the dustbin, half of it falls out of the dustbin. Have you not seen it? Has it not happened? Happened now. So just having laws is of no use if we cannot follow the laws, if we cannot implement the laws. Right? And that is why awareness and involvement is required. Can you tell me one very famous name, a student, a girl student who has become an activist for environment protection against global warming? Not Indian, at the world stage. Greta Thunberg, a Swedish student. She has become an environment activist. Now that we have understood that human beings have made the environment unbalanced, human beings have caused many problems for the environment, and we have agreed that it is our responsibility now to fix the problem and to conserve the nature, conserve environment. Why do you think we need to do? Two of the answers are already given on the screen. To maintain balance in nature, yes. Second one that is given is to solve natural and artificial problems. Yes, correct. What other things that you can think of? Why do we need to conserve the environment? What will happen if we don't conserve the environment? It's the same question. To save our life. Right? Rahul is saying to save life, correct? Not just human life, life in general of organisms. Prachi is saying to prevent disasters, correct? Pollution, to control pollution, yes. Yes, so when we are saying to save life, we are talking about saving human life, lives of the trees, plants, animals, everything. Can you think of more reasons why we need to conserve our environment? You have covered all the bases. One additional thing that we can say is quality of life. सिर्फ जीना जरूरी नहीं है ना, जीवन अच्छा भी होना चाहिए. Yes, and that is possible when we preserve resources. What Prachi is saying. When we preserve the resources, when we preserve the environment, then we will be able to live. There will be biodiversity, and our life will be easy, comfortable. It will be better, and our future generations will also have a good life. Otherwise, it will not be possible. So when we said that the governments are making different laws also to conserve our environment, to preserve our environment. So here is a very interesting message from Chanda. She says, long resources, long generation. Okay, so she's saying if we have more resources, then we will have life for a much longer period. Correct. Another thing that we studied was different governments are making laws. So these are some of the laws and other things also that governments are doing at their level. One is the Forest Conservation Act. Forest Conservation Act is about they declare certain areas as protected. वहां पर हम नॉर्मल काम नहीं कर सकते, माने we cannot go and set up industries there, we cannot go and start mining there. Some places are protected. Forest Conservation Act. पेड़ भी नहीं काट सकते. Environmental Conservation Act. So this is more about pollution. So Environment Conservation Act comes into play when suppose देखो अभी मुंबई में कोस्टल रोड का प्रोजेक्ट चल रहा है, आपने न्यूज़ में पढ़ा होगा, या फिर जो बहुत सारे यहाँ पे मैंग्रोव्स हैं उसको बार बार हटाते रहते हैं टू गेट मोर एंड मोर लैंड. टू डू एनी ऑफ दैट थिंग we need to get a clearance, permission लेना पड़ता है. कहाँ से? एक और organization है that its name is National Green Tribunal. It's like a court. This National Green Tribunal tries to implement the Forest Conservation Act and the Environmental Conservation Act, NGT. Laws तो हैं, but then what we have been seeing, if you are following the news, हर जगह करप्शन है, हर जगह प्रेशर है. इनके ऊपर प्रेशर डाला जाता है कि हमको परमिशन दो इंडस्ट्री स्टार्ट करने के लिए, माइनिंग स्टार्ट करने के लिए. Remember what we studied in political science? We studied about an organization which conducts the elections. What is the name of that organization? Which organization conducts elections in our country? In the states as well as at the center? Election Commission. And what kind of organization is this Election Commission? Two characteristics. Election Commission: autonomous, independent, right? It's a constitutional body. It has its own budget. अगर वो नहीं होगा, then they will not be able to, we will not have trust in the election process. So NGT पे भी यहाँ पे pressure रहता है. Problems are same. Then there is Wildlife Protection Act. Wildlife में, so the plants and the animals, the resources of the jungle, how to protect them. तो उनके 3 major clauses हैं. If you look at page number 41, that we cannot trade, we cannot buy and sell these wildlife. We cannot make certain things from this wildlife. जैसे हाथी के दांत से ivory, it's called ivory, उससे चीजें बनाई जाती थी. That is also illegal. Also we need to disclose कि हमने जो चीज बनाया है उसमें कुछ wildlife product use तो नहीं हुआ. Then to control and prevent noise pollution, we have the sound pollution rule. क्या हमको पता है कि वो गणपति का त्योहार हो या फिर ईद का त्योहार हो या दिवाली का त्योहार हो, कुछ भी त्योहार हो, रूल ये है, लॉ ये है कि हमको नॉइस नहीं करना चाहिए. The rule very clearly says कि कितना लाउड वॉइस अलाउड है, कितना लाउड नॉइस अलाउड है और कितना अलाउड नहीं है. We are not allowed to use those big speakers that we use for different occasions. और जब उनको परमिशन वो लेते हैं तो वो भी एक स्पेसिफिक टाइम के लिए लेते हैं. रात भर चलाने के लिए परमिशन नहीं मिलता, उनको नहीं दिया जाता. Other waste, now that we are living in the COVID-19 times, biomedical wastes, जो ग्लव्स यूज होते हैं, जो बैंडेज यूज होता है, जो सिरेंज यूज होता है, उसमें भी तो लगा ना वायरस बैक्टीरिया, तो उसको कैसे हैंडल करना है, उसको कैसे रिसाइकल करना है. ई वेस्ट, our computers, our phones, and also we watched this video in the morning, in the beginning, about Chipko movement, how people, forget about the government, people of a place, they got together and they protected the environment. They protected their women. They protected their livelihoods. They protected their groundwater. They protected their wildlife resources. So both at the government level, also at the people level, things need to be done to conserve our nature. So notice that this person is involved in this work from the age of 16. What happened? There was a flood. Brahmaputra river. We have studied in geography. It is part of the Ganga river system. So there was a flood in Brahmaputra river and that caused snakes to die. Why? What is the relationship between flood and snakes? I am not able to understand. Please explain. As a preventive measure, what is he preventing? Again, I'm not understanding anything. As a preventive measure, Molai planted 20 bamboo plantlets. Bamboo means बांस. बांस के उसने पौधे लगाए. कितने? 20. और ये कह रहा है कि टू प्रिवेंट. क्या प्रिवेंट कर रहे हैं बेटा ये? What will the bamboo prevent? Correct. The bamboo will prevent the floods. It is not going to help the snakes directly. The bamboo will prevent the floods. अगर जमीन पर पेड़ लगे होंगे, then the flood will not be that severe. पानी स्लो हो जाएगा. बैम्बू की जगह अगर कोई और पौधे भी लगाएंगे, कोई और ट्री भी लगाएंगे तो भी चलेगा. Depending on what geography it is, what kind of soil it is, we have to plant trees. So that is what he did. And not just 20, he did not stop at 20 plantlets. He continued it. How many years? He is doing it for 30 years. Government also chipped in. Government also took a land of 200 hectares. Afforestation, मतलब उसमें government ने भी पौधे लगाए. Because of all these efforts, the forest cover has increased to 1,360 acres. One homework for you is to tell me, how do we convert acres into meter square or kilometer square? You will find this out and tell me. This is part of your homework. One person started this by planting 20 bamboo trees. More people followed. Just like any movement, जब हम देखते हैं टीवी पे कोई वीडियो गांधी की यात्रा, he would start alone and more people will join him. And now he has been awarded Padma Shri, one of the national awards, and the jungle is now called the Molai jungle. If Jadav Molai Paeng can do this, why can we not? Do we have any excuse? Absolutely not. We just have to start. Start with the 20 bamboo trees. We need to take the initiative. We cannot keep waiting कि गवर्नमेंट आएगा, मुझे हेल्प करेगा, 10 लोग मिलेंगे तब हम काम करना शुरू करेंगे. We have to take the initiative and start planting those 20 bamboo plantlets. In your life, what it means is, forget about schools getting reopened. Start with what we have now. Take the initiative, and only then we will be able to change our lives. Based on what we have studied so far in this chapter, As part of homework, you will complete your notes and you will answer these questions from the exercise. Question number 1, 2, we have already looked at those questions in the class. Then question number 3A, 3B, 4, 5, 6A, 6B, and 6E. Complete it tonight. We will try to complete the chapter on Saturday.